During the early 16th century, a group of ancient Mayans set out on a hunting expedition to track down a wild tapir in the jungle. Flynn Sky leads the group while their son Jaguar Paw distributes portions of the animal to the rest of the team who accept them with great respect. However, Blended, an outsider in the group, falls for a trick by Jaguar Paw and eats the Tabitha's testicles, claiming it will make him fertile, but quickly vomits them back up after one bite. On their journey back to the village, the party comes across a wandering tribe. The tribe appears to be starving and weakened, and they ask only for passage through the area. Jaguar Paw asks what happened. The wanderers explaining that their village was destroyed. He wants to ask more questions, but Flint Sky stops him and allows the wanderers to pass through. Jaguar Paw watchers then go, clearly worried. Back in the village a little while later, Flint tells Jaguar not to be afraid of what he saw. He explains that fear is a sickness that can infect anyone. He reassures Jaguar that tomorrow they will discuss what to do about the wanderers. But for now there's no need to worry. The tribe is joyous in their peaceful place as the hunters return. Bonded to mother-in-law, scolds him for not being able to impregnate her daughter, much to the amusement of the rest of the tribe. Jaguar goes to his own pregnant wife, 7, so he can be with her that night. The tribe sits around a fire as an elder tells them a story. After that, they drink, dance and revel in merriment. All is well in this peaceful part of the world. The next morning is where things take a terrible turn for the worse. As the tribe sleeps, a band of Mayan warriors approaches in secret. They encircle the tribe and attempt to sneak in and kidnap the sleeping people within, and soon the tribe is alerted to the attack. This event causes chaos as everyone tries to escape and fight the attackers. Jaguar successfully rescues his pregnant wife and child from the village and takes them to a nearby hole in the ground. The hole is over 20 feet deep and he lowers them into it as the village burns behind him. While he's doing this, a warrior attacks him and he has to fight him off while also keeping his wife safe. After he places his wife and child in the hole, he tells them to wait for him as he runs back into the village. Unfortunately, the village is beyond saving, with husband and body scattered on the ground. Some people are dead and even more are tied up and bound. Jaguar Paw finds Flynn Sky fighting a warrior little boy and hurries to intercept and middle exchange blows, but it looks as if Jaguar is going to overcome and even defeat him. But then the leader of the Mayan warriors, Zero Wolf, stops the fight and throws Jaguar to the ground. Little AI is furious that Jaguar got the better of him and wants to kill him right now. But Zero Wolf will let him instead. Middle kills Jaguar Paw's father right in front of his eyes, relishing in how much pain it's bringing him. It's pretty damn vindictive and breaks Jaguar Paw, as one would expect. The people of the tribe are now prisoners. They're tied up together, forced to watch as the women of the tribe are assaulted and killed right in front of their eyes, including Blunted's own wave as the warriors prepare everyone to move. Jaguar looks back to the hole where he left his wife. 7. She's yet to be discovered, but now that he's leaving, there's no way for her to escape. She's as good as dead. The warriors voice the tribe to march through the forest. On the way, they meet up with another group of warriors who are waiting with another group of prisoners. Jaguar sees that they were wanderers from the previous day. The journey is a hard one for the prisoners with their hands bound and tied together. They are forced to march for days through the dangerous jungle. At one point, while walking along the cliff face, one group of prisoners almost falls off entirely. Little I go to them and tries to encourage them to save themselves like it's all a game. They're able to pull themselves back up, thanks mainly to Jaguar. But it was a close call. Even still bitterly pushes the weakest of them off the cliff. Just in case they didn't know how little their lives meant. Back in the hole, 7 waits for Jaguar's return. Getting closer to their destination, the prisoners come across large swaths of cleared land with gigantic trees being chopped down as if they're nothing. The prisoners look at it all in wonder, having never seen such things. Soon they come across a wasteland where a young girl holds her dead mother. The warriors whisper that she's infected and they have to keep away. The girl tries to go forward, but they push her back. She starts to laugh and tells them that their end is near. They should fear the black sky and the man who runs with the jaguar. He will bring an end to them all. Clearly, they're disturbed by this prophecy. They reach the Mayan city, and it's unlike anything the prisoners have ever seen before. The buildings are huge, bigger than any hut, and there are thousands of people crowding the streets and hard at work. However, this isn't a healthy society, and disease runs rampant through the citizens as the prisoners make their way through the streets. They are the crowds with confusion and pity. The society is dying on their way through. The prisoners get painted in blue from shoulder to foot. As they pass some murals, they see depictions of brutal sacrifices of blue-colored people. Jaguar eyes the drawings in middle. I nods at him and laughs. They're led into a new area. This area is centered around giant stone pyramids, painted red with stairs running up the center. Huge crowds gather around these pyramids, chanting and dancing in unison. Jaguar sees the fear and knowing in the eyes of the sacrifice. Victim and the prisoners are led up to the top of the pyramid, where a group of religious officials are gathered to address the crowd. The high priest calls out to the people, explaining how a plague has befallen the city and how it struck down the people and made them appear weak. But they're not weak. And to prove it, they're going to offer up some sacrifices to their great god. The people are cheering. The first sacrifice is horrific. They drag one of the prisoners onto the podium, lay him out for it, and cut him open while he's alive. They tear his insides out and offer them to their god as a sacrifice before beheading him. They do this twice as Jaguar blunted and the others watch on in fear, knowing that they're next. And what's even worse, there's nothing they can do about it. When it's Jaguar's turn to be sacrificed, it looks as if it's over for him. He doesn't want to die thinking that his time isn't done yet. But just before the knife plunges in a solar eclipse occurs, which has the Mayan civilization freaking out over what it means. The high priest claims that it's a sign from their god, that he's satisfied with their sacrifices and is blessed that somehow remarkably Jaguar's life is saved, but not for long. The remaining prisoners are taken to the outskirts of the city onto a long, open field. Beyond the field is the jungle and another prisoner is untied in order to run into the jungle for their freedom. They do just that only for the warriors to start firing arrows and throwing missiles at them. They try and dodge, but are quickly struck down, much to the delight of the warriors. Next, Jaguar and another one are ordered to run. Cleverly, they zigzag as they make for freedom. They dodge those missiles looking like they might escape when one hits the other in the face and another strikes Jaguar in the side of the stomach. He goes down looking to be dead, but Rogue steps in to finish him off with a blade but is distracted by Pointed who grabs a hold of his foot. This allows Jaguar to get a jump on him. He kills, Cut Rock and flees into the jungle, embracing his stolen freedom. 0. Wolf watches on in horror as his son is struck down in a rage. He commands his men to give chase to Jaguar. And as a group, the warriors flee into the forest in pursuit of them. Jaguar is running for his life, but can hear the Mayan warriors chasing him, tracking him, thinking quickly. He climbs a tree and hides in the brush until the mines pass. But as he hides, blood drips down from his wound and lands on one of the Mayan warriors' backs. They continue to run, though, until they realize they have lost his trail. Now angry and wondering what happened, they notice the blood on the warrior's back and realize that Jaguar Paw has taken to the trees still hidden in the foliage. Jaguar Paw hears the calling of a baby jaguar from one branch over. He then widens his gaze and sees a fully grown jaguar in the tree watching him. It's normal that a jaguar appears frozen in fear back on the ground. The warriors are spreading out as they search for him. One of them spots Jaguar Paw sprinting at full pace through the forest. They give chase with one of the men charging out in front and getting closer and closer. Little do they realize that Jaguar Paw is being chased by the jaguar, and when one of the warriors gets too close, he steps between the two and the jaguar leaps and takes him down instead. Jaguar Paw flees into the jungle. The warriors realize that the death of their friend is a sign that the omen given by the sick little girl is happening. They fear that this means the end of them all but 0. Wolf tells them to be quiet, that the words mean nothing, that they have to keep after Jaguar Paw back in the hole. 7 and her son listen as a pack of baboons fight one another overhead. One of the baboons falls into the hole and 7 is forced to club it to death before it can attack him. The warriors continue to track Jaguar Paw. One of them finds blue markings on a tree, but as he shows the others, a snake lashes out and bites him on the neck, killing him. They leave the body and keep after Jaguar Paw. The warriors are closing in on him. He looks over his shoulder, spotting them behind him. They fire some arrows and throw javelins, missing him by inches. He runs for his life until he comes across a powerful waterfall. He's standing on the edge, looking at the crushing waters beneath. He then looks back, sees the warriors, and knows he has no choice with a final breath. He runs forward and throws himself off the waterfall, crashing to the depths below. The warriors assume him dead until his body surfaces. Jaguar climbs to the shore, spots the warriors watching him from afar, and then taunts them. He tells them that he's Jaguar Paw and this is his jungle, that he knows it better than anyone else. He dares them to follow 0. Wolf tells his men that they're going to jump, and one of them argues so 0 step his chest without a word. He then commands his men to jump before throwing himself over. Jaguar runs back into the jungle but accidentally falls into a mud pit and almost drowns. He emerges covered in mud and collapses on his back, seemingly defeated. Meanwhile, The warriors search for Jaguar when he suddenly appears before them with a leaf folded above his head. He tosses the leaf, revealing a hornet's nest which attacks the warriors and sends them into a frenzy. Jaguar then tracks down a poisonous toad and uses its poison to coat 3 long thistles. He marks his spot in the jungle and circles around to come in behind the warriors. When they find them working, Jaguar shoots the thistles into one of the warriors, killing him instantly. Little 2 hears the scream and goes back for it, but Jaguar appears in front of him and they charge at each other. Midway swings his axe wildly, a jaguar. Jaguar ducks and slides under Middle Eye's swinging. Axe grabs another axe from the ground and slams it into Middle 2's head, killing him. Meanwhile, the rain pours into the hall, quickly, filling it up around their feet. 7 goes into labor as she struggles to keep her head above the water. Jaguar runs through the forest, pursued by a Zero Wolf. He hears Zero Wolf coming in, turns around, but Zero shoots an arrow into his chest, knocking him down. Jaguar gets back up and goes Zero Wolf to charge only for a trap to suddenly spring up and spear Zero through the chest. It's the same trap used to hunt the tabby earlier, and Jaguar had warned him that it was his forest. As the water continues to rise, Severn is forced to stand on her act to keep her head above the water while giving birth. We see the baby being born into the deep water. Jaguar reaches the edge of the jungle and stumbles upon the ocean with the remaining 2 warriors in close pursuit. They all freeze shocked to their core as they look beyond the waves and out to sea. The warriors see large conquistador ships anchored off the shore with smaller boats coming onto the land. Jaguar Paw uses this opportunity to escape from the beach and find his wife. He arrives just in time to pull his wife and 2 children from the water and bring them to safety. Later, at Jaguar, Paul, and Severn skirt the edges of the jungle and see the ships on the horizon. Severn asks if they can go to them, but Jaguar Paul says no. He tells her they should go into the jungle to seek a new beginning. After all, he is Jaguar Paw and the jungle is his home.